Hello everyone. Today, Group 12 is going to present on the topic Independence of Reserve Bank of India. The Reserve Bank of India is the central bank of India which was established on April 1, 1935 under the Reserve Bank of India Act. The RBI acts as a regulator and supervisor of the overall financial system. This injects public confidence into the national financial system, protects interest rates, and provides positive banking alternatives to the public. Significance of RBI. Number 1. Issuer of currency. The RBI has the sole right to issue new currency notes and coins, exchange or destroy currency not fit for circulation. Number 2. RBI also manages the flow of foreign currency in Indian economy by enforcing the Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999. As part of this function, the RBI makes sure that the exchange rate valuation of Indian national rupee is maintained in the international markets. Number 3. Regulator and supervisor of the financial system. RBI prescribes broad parameters of banking operation within which the country's banking and financial system functions. It makes sure that the banks are following the issued guidelines by overlooking their financial operations, or in case banking failures, RBI comes ahead to safeguard the depositors' money by bailing out the distressed bank. Number 4. Development role. Performs a wide range of promotional functions to support national objectives. This includes like providing timely credit to the productive sectors of the economy, creating institutions to build financial infrastructure like UPI, NEFT, etc. Number 5. Bank it to the government and bank it to the banks. Performs merchant banking function to the central government and state governments, and also helps maintaining banking accounts of all scheduled banks. Number 6. Monetary authority. RBI formulates, implements, and monitors the monetary policy. This policy is the most important tool that the RBI has. Using this policy, RBI manages the interest rates offered by banks on loans and deposits, and which affects the inflation and deflation in the country.
The Reserve Bank of India Act 1934 is the legislative act under which the Reserve Bank of India was formed. This act, along with the Companies Act, which was amended in 1936, were meant to provide a framework for the supervision of banking firms in India. The Act contains the definition of the so-called scheduled banks as they are mentioned in the second schedule of the Act. These are banks which were to have paid up capital and reserves above 5 lakh rupees. There are various sections in the RBI Act, but the most controversial and confusing section is the Section 7. Although this section has been used only once by the central government, it puts a restriction on the autonomy of the RBI. Section 7 states that central government can legislate the functioning of the RBI through the RBI board, and the RBI is not an autonomous body. Section 17 of the Act defines the manner in which the RBI, which is the Central Bank of India, can conduct business. The RBI can accept deposits from the central and state government without interest. It can purchase and discount bills of exchange from commercial banks. It can purchase foreign exchange from banks and sell it to them. It can provide loans to banks and state financial corporations. It can provide advances to the central government and state governments. It can buy or sell government securities. It can deal in derivative, repo, and reverse repo. Section 18 deals with emergency loans to the banks. Section 21 states that the RBI must conduct banking affairs for the central government and manage public debt. Section 22 states that only the RBI has the exclusive rights to issue currency notes in India. Section 24 states that maximum denomination a note can be is rupees 10,000 only. Section 26 of the Act describes the legal tender character of the Indian banking notes. Section 28 allows the RBI to form rules regarding the exchange of damaged and imperfect notes. Section 31 of the Act states that in India only the RBI or the central government can issue and accept promissory notes that are payable on demand. However, checks that are payable on demand can be issued by anyone. Section 42-1 states that every scheduled bank must have an average daily balance with the RBI. The amount of the deposit shall be more than a certain percentage of its net time and demand liabilities in India.
The central bank may have certain autonomy, but the government is the sovereign. In recent years, there has been 2 cases in which the central bank was questioned with its independence and as an effective banking regulator of the country. The first one being demonetisation and the second being the Nirav Modi PNB scam. Demonetisation. Since the formation of the Monetary Policy Committee in June 2016, the RBI was ripped of the full control over monetary policy decisions, as now the committee had two members who were nominated by the government. One of the challenges that RBI faces now is the independence of central bank from political interference so it can undertake its monetary policy and regulatory responsibilities freely without any pressures. At the onset of demonetisation in November 2016, the RBI governor was under fire for a tactless execution of demonetisation. But in reality, former governor Raghuram Rajan has revealed that he did not favour demonetisation and had suggested the government the same. He felt the short-term economic costs associated with such a disruptive decision would outweigh any long-term benefits. At no point during his term was the RBI asked to make a decision on demonetisation. Hence, the government was completely accountable. As the original power play was established, that in case of a conflict, it would be the RBI governor who would stand down and a linear progression would be followed. The government had misused their power over RBI by blaming something which was the responsibility and by the decision of the Ministry of Finance and Government.
The other instance which undermined the independence of the Reserve Bank of India was 2018's Nirav Modi PNB scam. Nirav Modi, a Gujarati entrepreneur, allegedly organized a scam of around 11,350 crore rupees with the help of PNB's employees and directors of his firm. The case relates to fraudulent bank guarantee provision letters of undertakings that allowed Nirav Modi to access massive foreign exchange loans that were completely unsecured. The fact that the PNB SWIFT was not integrated with its core banking system was a matter of concern in the above case, something that appears to have missed the RBI inspector for all these years. Even when the RBI deputy governor raised concerns about the probable misuse of SWIFT in 2016, inspectors entirely disregarded the warning. Furthermore, in its report, the PNB confesses that the last audit done by RBI was on 31st March 2009, whereas according to the norms, RBI has to audit banks every year. The lack of supervision from RBI's side caused the unauthorized transactions to go undetected for nearly 7 years. To avoid accountability, in February 2018, the Government of India also blamed RBI for the PNB scandal. The former Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said, "Regulators ultimately decide the rules of the game, and regulators have to have a third eye which is to be perpetually open. But unfortunately, in the Indian system, we politicians are accountable, the regulators are not." Taking a direct take on the central bank. Following the acquisition, RBI in March 2018 eliminated the financial instrument letter of undertaking to improve banks' due diligence in trade credit.
How the independence of RBI can deteriorate the constitutional democracy in our country. In India, even though the RBI Act 1934 allows government control, the convention is that the RBI is allowed autonomy to do what it wants. Central bank strives to build credibility through series of difficult choices that reflect sacrificing short-term gains for long-term outcomes such as financial or price stability, which may not be in the liking of the government. Now we look at the problem that may arise due to this kind of autonomy. A large amount of precious metal gets wasted laying locked in reserve and cannot be put to productive use. High denomination notes are converted into low denomination notes and not into coins, so convertibility of paper notes is not practical. Since the RBI plays multifaceted role by executing multiple functions such as overseeing monetary policy, issuing currency, working as bank of government and as bankers of scheduled commercial bank, among others, it can easily get involved in the deterioration constitutional democracy in the country. But due to the presence of other system of checks and balance in the country, it is almost very impractical for it to ever happen.
This is all from our side. Thank you for patiently listening to us, and we hope that you liked it.